So knowing that you like to get so much done, usually, you're learning a new way now. I mean, one of the other things that we talk a lot about on our team is just accountability, and holding yourself accountable. For those of us who are out there who are maybe solo agents, great ways to hold yourself accountable, and also for those of us that are team leaders, holding our team members accountable. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this is where environment is stronger than will, and I don't care how great you are and how hard you work and how hungry you are. Like accountability and having someone that's helping to keep you accountable, whether it's a coach or it's your team or it's another colleague or whatever, is extremely valuable. And I thought I just downloaded a new app. I did just download a new app. I said, I'm not here. I must not have double clicked or something. It's called Habit something. It's something about habits, but it was creating that accountability. So if nothing else, there's probably an app you could use for holding yourself accountable of the things you said you're going to do versus the things you did on a daily basis. Accountability is huge. I mean, it's your willpower is not strong enough to carry you through by itself. Right. So, accountability, pressure, the outside, I used to have a quote that I had in my office. It was actually on Clayton Mask's above his office is where I saw it the very first time. He said, what gets measured improves, what gets measured and reported improves dramatically. And what gets measured and reported publicly improves exponentially. And, I believe that is absolutely true. And, once you put it out there publicly, hey, here's what I'm doing. This is like you see the 75 hard challenge. People are putting out there publicly. Like, it's that outside pressure of you saying you're going to do something in front of all these people and then not doing it is more accountability than, it's more likely that you're going to do it by a large percentage. I don't know the math or whatever, but that's, that's the reason why you see that kind of stuff out there is it's getting reported publicly. And so, there's all kinds of apps for that. If you look for accountability and, accountability apps and stuff like that you can use if you're all by yourself and you don't have somebody. But I think, the thing, I think I've just recognized over the years, is having really ambitious people around you, like Mike Reese, who is extremely ambitious, and does not have an off button, doesn't even have a pause button. The dude is just an animal. And, but being around that has made me, a lot more productive as a person for sure. That's, I can't just let him continue to just run circles around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to step up and up your game. And so the people that you're around, I believe is, we would never allow our children to be around, people that are bringing them down. We would never allow that. But are we holding ourselves accountable to that same rule, that same principle of, show me your 5 closest friends, I'll tell you your future. And, get around those types of people is, I've been fortunate. That's what my whole life, I'm just dumb enough to know that there's a lot of people smarter than me, and I'm going to find those people, pay whatever I got to pay to get there, and then learn as much as I can while I'm there. And that's worked really well for me. I think it works in general. I think that principle just stands alone on its own. But, that's the secret to my success has been the people that I've been around. And I'll never forget, I remember being at an event years ago, and they were talking about, I remember that the coaching was $12,000. I was like, $12,000? Are you kidding me? Like, I could not believe that. Like, I had never even imagined spending $12,000 on anything in my business. And I remember I was sitting next to this guy, Stephen Garten was his name. He's from Florida. And I was like, bro, are you serious? Like, he was laughing too. He's like, that's unbelievable. I was like, there's no way it could be $12,000. And then a little bit later, they're giving testimonials and people up on stage, or whatever. And this guy that's like 2 or 3 seats down from me gets up to the mic, or they pass him a mic or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I sold 400 homes last year. And I'm like, I look over, I'm like, what? 400? Are you kidding me? Like, once I saw it, like my brain had been stretched so far, like I couldn't think that it was impossible anymore. I mean, I'd never seen nobody was doing that in my market. I was like, that's unbelievable, right? And so, like, once you see it, and this has been a big deal for me, like, especially like once you see how they're doing it, right? Like if you ever go to an office and see the operation of how it works, man, it's impossible for you to leave and go, well, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, once you see the functionality of it, oh, this is how you do all that. Okay, I got it. You go back and you can create the same thing. So yeah, those are helpful, I think.
that accountability, super important to fulfilling your vision, right? I was just thinking about back to the talk about your vision, using it as a filter to put all these decisions through. And I mean, you really need that. You need that clear vision in order to really hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, the vision has to be something you want so bad that it will bring you through all the hard shit that you're going to have to go through to get to it, right? And like, it has to be something that you want so bad that the days that you want to quit, you're going to say, no, man, I am quitting because this is what I'm doing this for. This is why I'm doing this. And that's that otherwise, and then the accountability surrounding, around you at the same time, that's your best chance of success, in my opinion. But yeah, there will be days. I don't care what you're trying to accomplish. There will be days you want to quit. I don't care if it's I was at this boxing gym last night, and these kids, some of these kids are, they're pushing themselves to their limits in that gym, and they want something bad enough they're willing to push themselves to the limits, and you have to want it, whatever it is. That's why getting clear on that vision is so important, because that's the only. Otherwise, you'd be like, "Why am I doing this? This sucks. Forget it. I'm just gonna go home."
Right.
Yeah.
And
it has to be something that you're really inspires. And at first, and the first part of my life, that would have been material things. Like, I thought that stuff mattered, right? Like, I want a boat, or I want this, or I want that. And you learn later in life, that's really not what matters. It may have been what drove you when you didn't have it and you wanted it, but it's not, that's not what's the sustainable vision of what you want is really ultimately, at least where I evolved to, is like, impact. Like, what am I doing, and how many people's lives can I impact? How can I add value to people's lives in more ways? Like donating to this gym, like that's a real good feel good thing for me. Like, I'm part of what I worked so hard for my whole life was so I could do things like that and see these kids all get excited. None of them speak really not very many of them speak very much English, but like they're all like, yeah, well, we'll put you on our stuff. You'll be your sponsor, and like, yeah, it was just cool. Right. But that's, that I'll work harder because of being able to do that than I would for myself even. Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I love that. One of the shift gears quickly here. My wife and I purchased the Dale Carnegie training franchise in Maine. I've been involved with Dale Carnegie training for a long time. I'm a trainer, and we just got done teaching this. One of the classes is about developing your leadership potential. So leadership courses are just awesome. I think, have you taken a Dale Carnegie course?
Yeah, when I was 18 years old, I took Dale Carnegie training. Changed my life. No question about it. My dad went through Dale Carnegie, and a guy by the name of Bob Farrell was making his rounds through town, came in and talked to my dad. You know anybody that would want to take this? I just happened to be standing up front. He's like, Jay, you want to take it? I was like, what is it? And they told me a little bit. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then they made me speak and do things that I was very uncomfortable doing at that time in my life, and it helped me a lot with real estate. Yeah, for sure. Great training.
Ooh, that's awesome. That's another testimonial I'll have to get from you at some point in time.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it changed my life, hands down. If I hadn't done that, I think I would have probably been too afraid to do what was necessary in real estate that I needed to do, which I ended up doing because of Dale Carnegie, making the calls and fist close expires, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's transformational. We stretch people outside their comfort zones. They stretch themselves outside of it.
Right.
So Warren Buffett's is the only thing that he has on his wall in his office is his certificate from graduation of the Dale Carnegie course. So,
yeah.
And so that class that we're teaching this is all about leadership, right? And leadership is really a mindset first, like especially new leaders, people moving outside of doing. So they stop doing, they have to start leading people. And we talk a lot about mindset. What's some leadership advice that you have for those of us that are leading teams, or even our families and our friends and our people?
Yeah, it starts with lead by example. I mean, it starts with leading yourself, right? So you have to be able to lead yourself before you can ever lead others, and but there's a whole lot to unpack there in terms of growth and growth mindset and the laws of growth and that kind of thing. But in essence, if what it boils down to, like for me, like when you start hiring people, you realize either you have manage your time and calendar your day, and plan your priorities, or you don't. And a lot of people don't. And it's one of the first things we help people get to at that point of, it's not having a calendar isn't forcing you into like a regiment that you have to do every day. It's giving you the freedom is what it does. And it's kind of hard to accept that because we just lollygag around most days in real estate because we can, and there's nobody that's going to say anything about it. And we like that freedom. But if how are you going to be efficient if you're not efficient with your time, how are you going to lead others to do the same? How are you going to get the most out of the people and that work for you? And so when we start building a team, you have to lead people. You have to first be able to lead yourself before you can lead others. And that's a big part of it. I think the other thing before you start building a team, you have to be clear on like what are your core values? What are the values that make you who you are? And it's easy to identify when someone's not aligned to your core values because they literally will do things that make the hair on your neck stand up, and you want to strangle them. You're like, why am I so angry? Right? And then you realize like this person is just literally at their core a human being that I don't want to be around. And that's what core values help you to kind of identify, like, the things you're looking for in people and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I think, it starts with, with you, being, lead by example. You're not going to be able to lead anybody to do anything that you aren't willing to do yourself. And so do the work. I remember having one guy that was in our mastermind years ago. It was before you joined. I'll leave his name out of this, but nice guy, but he never would make the calls ever. And his wife made a lot of money, so he didn't have to. And he never did really make a whole lot of money while he was with us, because we get to see everybody's P&Ls, but he wouldn't make the calls. And he kept trying to hire ISAs to make the calls and agents to make the calls, but he never would make the calls. And so when people would make the excuse of like, well, the script doesn't work or these leads suck, he would be like, yeah, you're right. They do, I guess. I don't know. Because he never did it, right? Like if he'd done it, he'd be like, no, they don't suck. You suck. You got to say this. Do it this way. Do it, like you had that conviction of like, no. I don't know. I remember feeling like that. No, they don't suck. Actually, you just have to change. You got to follow the script. What are you saying exactly? Let me listen to your calls. Like, you can't lead other people if you weren't willing to do that work, because you don't really truly understand what it takes in order to do that. And so, those are just lessons I've seen over the years. You got to have been willing to do the work if you're going to hire other people to try to do that. You can't just delegate the hard stuff and expect people to do that work at a high level when you've never done it yourself.
Yeah. Oh man. It's bringing back some memories of some past hires that didn't fit. I don't know if you see behind the wall here.
Yeah.
Our core values, and we use that as a filter for everybody to look at our team. And that was such a big lesson over the years. It's just to make sure what the core values are. And that's a writer downer, as you would say. One thing I quoted this one time because this came from one of our masterminds, and I don't remember exactly where it is. I'm hoping you can put it in context because I think about it a lot. I think you said leaders building leaders building leaders.
Mm-hmm.
It came up, and where did that come from? And maybe just touch on that real quick, and then
I remember the first guy that shared it with us was that he was the number one action coach in their system, action coach, and his name was Earl Kemper, really smart guy, and he came in and he wrote in the middle of our strategy, leaders creating leaders creating leaders, and I remember looking at that going, the hell does that even mean? Like, what is he even talking about? Because, we were trying to solve this problem or whatever it was or whatever. And the vision and where we're going and this and the other. And then, he comes in with this leaders creating leaders creating leaders. And, later on the example and he explained it and it made more sense. I mean, it's, you're really creating an organization of leaders that are going to lead other people who are going to lead other people. And so it's leaders creating leaders creating leaders. And, it's amazing. It's amazing when you see it in action. And I really didn't get to experience it as much in my real estate team as much as I did at NAEA, because it was that lesson was learned later on more so. Mm. And so lots of employees, lots of people, lots of great people. And at one point, our operations girl left. She quit. She quit at the end of an event that was $200,000 upside down, where there was going to be some serious accountability to what happened that made us go over budget. And it was just more than she could handle. And she quit and she left the event, never came back again. And she was amazing. She was literally our operations. Mike and I, she reported to me and Mike, And everyone else in the organization reported to her, which number one is a bad strategy and org structure. It was great for us because we were basically both business development and we were out doing growth of the company type stuff. But what was amazing was, so, we had a mentor, Clayton Mask, that, built $1 billion company in Infusionsoft. Now it's called Keep. And so we called him. We're like, what do we do, Clay? What do we do? And we kind of knew what we thought we were going to have to do, but we didn't really know the employees. Didn't even know all their names. We were not there that often. And when we were there, they were hiring people all the time. And, they were, she was running everything. And whenever it was time, Clay said, you guys both individually have to meet with every single employee in the company, let them know everything's gonna be okay. Not to worry. Right. And so we're like, all right, so we did it. And every single meeting with these people I had never met with, didn't have any, they didn't report to me. So I rarely was in meetings with most of them. And they all were saying the same things that I say all the time. And I was like, how in the hell is it possible that they don't even know that, but it was all the things that I said all the time to Megan that were core value related, just little things that I would always say that Megan picked up on, and those became core values. And Megan was a parrot saying the same things I would always say. And so it was just like as if I was there saying it all the time. And it was my biggest lesson in leadership. Megan was a great leader. She was a great leader, and she led others at a really high level. And so much so that she was probably better than me. Right. And so, but me leading her and her leading others. And then when it was time to replace her, which we stepped back into that place, and then we recruited someone up into a couple of different roles that became management leadership, and led the rest of the people. We didn't just stay in those roles forever. But it was a huge lesson for me. It was like, man, like when you really get this down and clear, there's a reason why everyone in the organization, was in vibe. We vibed in the same way, like getting, all the things from like surprise and delight and for your clients and things of that nature, all these cool things that we did really well was because, we had leaders creating leaders. And, you could talk to someone that, that just joined, someone that had been with the company 90 days or 120 days, and a new person joins and they do something that's not in alignment, and someone would reach over and be like, hey man, listen here, let me help you with that. Cause this is get shit done is one of our core values. And I'm not gonna let you not get shit done because you've just been here 30 days. And I was in the interview that said you should be able to come join the company. And I kind of voted for you. So I'm gonna help you with this. So you create this whole environment, around support of the values in the company. But I've had the blessing of building a company and being very intimately involved in that process for many, many hours every quarter. The leadership, thing is the biggest piece. If you want to have, build a successful company, you have to have, decisions. People make decisions based on the values in the company. And when you have that, then it's just a question of, hey, what do we do? Here's, what's our value say? Add value. Does it add value? No. Well, then let's not do it. Does it add value? Yes. Okay, then do it. Right? Like that's just the decision making. It becomes your decision making filter, and then you have an organization of people doing what you as an organization has determined is the way things should be done, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm proud to be in business with you, and
same here.
Thanks for being so gracious with your time as well. Just giving us talk, and I've got a big long sheet of notes here, and I didn't expect that, so I've got a lot of stuff I wrote down, and people will come back to this and keep looking at it. So
yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Great questions as always, man. Love you, man. I hope everything's well, and hopefully see you on that vacation. Come down here and see us in Puerto Rico.
I'm going to be hitting you up for that.
Thanks, that, man. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, take care, Rob.
Thanks, Jay. Take care.